Bum, bum, bum. Hello YouTube, it's Louise, the Big Head Bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. Lovely to see you. Welcome back to my spare bedroom / crafting room / putting stuff in here because we don't know where else to put it and it can't go into the storeroom room. Really need to sort it out. She says, looking at 2 bottles of Calpol that's over there. The lad had a cough. And although he can take paracetamol, he still sometimes takes Calpol, which is the liquid paracetamol that's more expensive than normal. Hello, welcome back to the Yarn Chat. How are you doing? This is the 3rd Yarn Chat that we're having set up in this room. You are more than welcome. Come in, sit down. Squidge over everybody so that we can sit down together and we can share our knitting, stitching, crafting adventures. This is our Yarn Chat. This is our Stitch and Bitch group where we get together. We talk about all sorts of things, but we also show what we've been making and what we're thoroughly interested in and what we've enjoyed doing and what hasn't worked. Gives you a clue that there's some stuff that I've really enjoyed making recently and other stuff I hasn't worked. So since I've seen you, we've had lots of things, done lots of stuff. But let's begin as I always begin. This is a new to me candle and I'm ringing in the October festive vibes. Festive? Seasonal vibes. With Witch's Spell. It's a black potion. It's a hand-poured scented candle. Isn't it grand? Just realised I've got the sticker on the back. Cannot do stickers on the back. Oh, even unlit, I can smell this one. Let's get rid of the price tag. Got it from TK Maxx, which Home Sense is part of. So it was the Home Sense part of TK Maxx. Let's put that over there. And I've got a piece of sticker that I can't get off my finger. There we go. So yes, the kind of Halloweeny vibes. I bought 2 candles. I bought this one and another one. This has got sweet sugared vanilla, pure warm honey, freshly toasted almonds. That's what I can smell. And the golden butter. Golden butter. Yeah, that really is. It's quite almost toffees. I don't normally go for sweet candles, as in sweet as in like warm cookies or vanilla. You know how some of the Yankee candles are really like cookies and cream and that kind of thing. I don't go for those. I'm much more for kind of wood or fresh is normally what I go for. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of these kind of spooky types of candles that are that scent. They do tend to be quite, some spiced kind of pumpkin mix can be more, no, they all tend to be quite sweet. So we'll see how this one goes, but there we go. Let's just set our intention. My intention today is to not go on too long. Please, if you have an idea of kind of the ideal time for these, I mean, if you were able to all get into this room and we could all sit down together, I mean, I'm talking a good 2 to 3 hours is what we'd need. Easily do that. Maybe once a fortnight, that would be grand, wouldn't it? But in this kind of format, I'm thinking half an hour to 3/4 of an hour would be about optimal. You tell me what you would like. I am conscious of my volume. The husband found the microphone. I just need to get it on me and get connected so that it works and so that you can hear me clearly. I am conscious when I actually watch it back that sometimes my volume dips. I think also I'm conscious of the fact that the lad is next door. If you hear any banging or crashing, I've not said anything to him because he's just come home from school, so he needs to talk to his friends and do what you do when you're just home from school. So yeah. My intention is that we will spend this time together and that you will leave feeling like you've spent time with somebody that cares about you. Because I do. So that's how I hope. That's how I hope you get the feeling. So yes, there we go. let's put this not near the yarn. I'm just going to have to squidge out of view. Actually, I can pop it there. As long as I'm careful, as she says. I'm going to say I'm careful. My hair's nowhere near it. If it looks like my hair's near it, it's not. If you see smoke, please say. So, it's got a lovely look at that. That's a lovely cork. That actually has got something on it. I don't know why that's got something on it. Got like a stickery thing. Get rid of that. There we go. There we go. Let me show you what we've been doing. So, since I've seen you, we've had our 25th wedding anniversary party, and that's what I was going on about. So in these chats, other than in the booktube chats, because it's longer, because the people that come here are crafty types, you're going to be the kind of people that are going to want to sit down. Thank you. Notification comes up. You're the kind of people that just kind of, we're going to talk about stuff. So I'm going to talk about stuff that I wouldn't normally talk about in the booktube stuff. So I'll be a bit more open about what I have going on and what have you, so that we can kind of share more. So what I've been working, so it was our 25th wedding anniversary party. Our actual 25th wedding anniversary was in May, and we decided to have the party in September, because then we thought that COVID would have, would be less of an issue, and the weather might be more settled. So in early May, when our wedding anniversary is, actually it was a lovely day, but it did rain a little bit, so it made me quite glad that we didn't do it that weekend. That weekend was wet. We thought it might be better in September, had a bit more of a chance of it being better in September. And it was beautiful. It was a perfect temperature. It had a little bit of coolness to it, but not enough that anybody was chilly. I actually was getting people to come inside at about 5 o'clock, more because of how people were sat, but also because I just was thinking my mother-in-law might get a cold by then. About 5:30, I think I kind of moved us. There was enough people that we could just go into the lounge, and we could sit in there. Other than that, we had we had one big gazebo at the back and a gazebo at the side of the house. And people sat out there, and you could it was warm enough that you didn't have to sit under the gazebo. You could sit in the sun when the sun was out and chat, and it was lovely. We set it all up, and people sat there and wandered around and chatted, and it was brilliant. It was really nice. The best thing about it was that everybody made it easy. I think that was the thing. Everybody came with an attitude of, I'm thrilled to be here, which was wonderful. It was just wonderful. A friend I hadn't seen for a while, who was actually my bridesmaid, I haven't seen her for a couple of years with COVID and what have you. She came with her husband and her son. Her son is actually my godson, and they're he's the same age as the lad. So they've grown up together, and it was just like within a quarter of an hour, it's like they saw each other last week. So they got on like a house on fire. Both of them are into games, and so they were doing their stuff. That was brilliant. What else? It was lovely. It was easy. The food was fine. We went to Costco, the big wholesaler, and we got lots and lots of sandwiches. And then we ordered pizza to be delivered, so that was easy. We did a lot of pre-preparing over the couple of days, so that actually on the morning of it was relatively smooth. We said from 12, and we said casual dress. Do not dress up. Just wear as cosy, comfy clothes as you possibly can. And one of my nephews came, and he said, he's recently got married, he said, I wouldn't have come if I had to dress up. It was the thing that made me think, oh yeah, sure, I'll just bowl up, which was what we wanted. We wanted people just to come and be comfortable and not feel like they had to be in their glad rags. They just could turn up and what have you. We were all wearing the same t-shirts, and I was going to wear it, actually. I should have worn it. Maybe I'll wear it in a couple of weeks. So we've all got the same t-shirts. So myself and my husband and the lad all got the same t-shirts, which were blue, and it said established Mr. and Mrs. and 1997, and then on the back it had the list of all the houses we've lived in, because we've moved around so much. So it was brilliant. It really was. It was really good fun. It was lovely. It was shattering though. That was quite something. I felt exhausted the following day. I mean, I was up to midnight tidying because I couldn't go to bed with all the washing up left. Couldn't do it. Are you with me? Are you that kind of person too? I was saying it to somebody else and she said I couldn't have gone to bed knowing there was washing up. And the husband was like, I'll do it in the morning. And I thought, I can't wake up in the morning and know I've got to wash up, I've got to tidy up. I have to wake up in the morning and know I can just come downstairs and make my cup of tea. That's what I wanted. Oh, I forgot to offer anybody a drink. Would anybody like a drink? I was so get into this because I didn't want it to be super long. I suddenly realised I've not offered you a cup of tea or a coffee. There's red wine and white wine downstairs, still left over from the party, which you're more than welcome to. And there's some beer in the fridge if you'd like a cheeky beer. But yeah, so the wine is open, so crack it. Have yourself a glass before you come and sit down. I haven't got any freshly made cakes, but I do have some biscuits, so you know where the tin is. Have at it. What was I saying? Yes, and also my mother-in-law and father-in-law were going to stay in a Airbnb in the next village, and so I drove them there the night of the party about 7:30. They just suddenly, you could just see it in their eyes. They were like, gone. Like, we need. Was it about 7:30? It was about 7:30, maybe quarter to 8. Doesn't matter. Around that time, about kind of 7:30, they just went tired, and so we said I said, right, that's fine. I'll drive you to your Airbnb because they're not going to go find it, and got them settled in, and so came back and then had a glass or two of champagne because I hadn't drunk at all. I couldn't drink because I was a hostess. I just couldn't have done it. So we rested, and then I washed up. I got to bed at 12 o'clock, and actually that was a real good calm down. I think I washed up from between 11 and 12 because it just allowed me just to calmly, on my own, with some quiet audio book on, just piddle around and tidy up and everything. That was really lovely. That actually was really lovely. And then the husband picked up the in-laws in the morning, brought them over. So I had to have the house relatively clean because I was cooking breakfast. I was doing bacon sandwiches for everybody. Well, for my husband, so it was us 5 and my sister-in-law who had driven my father-in-law and mother-in-law, the in-laws, up. So, yeah, it was great. It was really lovely. It was a really lovely feeling of people were glad to be here. And people had come with an attitude of, isn't this lovely? And that was just the nicest. I'm so glad it's over. So glad it's over. Even talking about it, I can feel a bit anxious about it. Not anxious, that's the wrong word. What's the word? I was going to say mithered, and if you're from the north of England, you'll know exactly what I mean by mithered. I was always thinking about it. I was always thinking that needs to be done. We need to wash that. We need to clean that door. I need to paint this. We had to do so much before because we were holding it here. And one of the things that I was trying to do was I was trying to do a crochet wreath. My first crochet wreath. Now, was that a good idea? I'm going to sort this out. Was that a good idea the week I was holding a party to focus on making a crochet wreath? Well, yes, because it was a bit of distraction tactics, wasn't it? So I made it. Now, there are some things I like about it and some things I don't like about it. Everybody that was coming, nobody was crafty who was coming, so they were not going to give two hoots about it. They were either not going to notice, which I don't think most people did, or they were going to go, she's bought that, or if they even registered it, that I'd made it, it didn't occur to anybody. I don't think anybody occurred to them. So, here we go. So this is it. This is what I made to go on our front door. And our t-shirts are all in just a slightly darker shade of that, so they were in blue. So it was blue and silver. A lot of the stuff that I had was blue and silver. So we had these paper lanterns. This is a classic one of me. I didn't work out the size of the lanterns that I got, and they were huge. So if you know anybody that needs 10 very large blue, dark blue lanterns and 6 slightly smaller silver lanterns, then you just send them my way, because I've got those. So I was hanging those up. So it was blue and silver was the kind of theme that we were going for. And so I thought I'd do this. So there are some things I really like about this. I'm going to have to do that. And there are some things I don't. Okay? So the first thing is the wreath is too big. This circumference, it's just too big. I think it would look good if I had a lot of stuff on. So if there was stuff like throughout it, I think it would look good. So if I could do over, I'd start earlier, and I'd do it heavily up one side, you know, like really lots of stuff up one side, I think would look better. Or I'd get a different size wreath, because it didn't look right. The proportions didn't look right. I mean, I'm looking at it like that, I still think it is lovely, and it brings back nice feelings. So these were white polystyrene numbers I got from Hobbycraft, and I painted them with this acrylics high viscosity metallic paint to make them silver. And the husband said you would never know they weren't silver. You know, they weren't actually, you didn't buy silver numbers, but I bought white ones and I painted them in that. It was on offer in Hobbycraft, and now I've got a whole big tube because it didn't take an awful lot to do that. So I liked that. So I liked actually doing the numbers. So the numbers are there. I need to be further away, don't I? These are succulents, which they don't look like succulents. I said to the husband after the day, I went, "Did you wonder why I did starfish?" And he went, "I did wonder why you did starfish. I thought it was a kind of whole under the sea theme because you love the water so much." And I was like, "Bless you for that." He's like, "I love it. I think it's great." But he actually did think they were starfish. And I was like, "No, they're succulents." And he's like, "Oh," he said, now you've said it, I can see they are succulents." He said, "I just thought you were doing an under the sea thing." I was like, "These?" He said, "Oh, I didn't think they were." But he said, "I didn't know what they were," but yeah. So this is it trebles? Yes, I think it is. So I did trebles. I randomly did about I did a foundation chain and measured it to make sure it was tight-ish, so it wasn't too loose, but it wasn't so tight that it was pulling. And I don't know how many that was. And then I just literally started crocheting a long strip of that many. So it was a long rectangular, very long scarf looking thing, changing colours regularly out of the scraps that I had. So these are scraps or different colour balls, and it's all Stylecraft Special DK. So that's how I did that. Then if you see the back, there's a line here. I whip stitched it together around the ring. So I joined it into a big circle and then put it round, and then at the back I literally just turned it round at the back and whip stitched it together to put it on there, and it is absolutely, that's not going anywhere. These succulents, not just moving you, put you there, it's nowhere near the candle. It looks like it's near the candle, but it's not. These succulents are from, can I see the book? Yes, here it is. This book. Crocheted Wreaths for the Home. Now you see, that's why I think that size would look great with something like that. So this is where the succulents come from, exactly that pattern. So these are the bigger ones, and those are the around. And what you do is you do many, many, many succulents in all different colours. I think there's 6 or 7 patterns of succulents, different sizes. You do lots and lots and lots and lots of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 different succulents. So I made that. I made those because they're lovely. They're lovely to do, and I did large ones of those. So you do lots. So to make that wreath, you do lots and lots of. It's basically how many colours have you got, and it tells you the colour wheel that you should use. You make lots and lots and lots of them, and then you apply them. Really lovely book, lovely patterns, highly recommend. I will leave everything that I talk about, I will leave the descriptions of it in the description box below, so you don't need to, well, you're more than welcome to pause it. There you are. Ta-da! You're welcome to pause it and take the details, but I will put the details down below. So that's the book I used. And actually, I bought that book to do that wreath. I don't know how many years ago, a couple of years ago. So those are the succulents. Now, I think if I'd had more time, I'd planned it more, I'd considered it more, I wouldn't have done this colour scheme. Or I'd have done something different, or I'd have used a different wreath, or something like that. However, I'm very fond of it because it is my 25th wedding anniversary celebratory wreath. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hook on the wall, and I'm going to have it up there so that I can look at it and feel very proud of myself. It's all special. It's all special DK from Stylecraft, by the way. Yeah, so it's all that. So yeah, I'm gonna look at it and learn from it and think, if I'm going to do another wreath, I will do a smaller wreath. In fact, that's what I'm working on. Yes! I'm actually already working on a second wreath. I really, really like, wreaths on the front door that rig in the changes of the season. On my last BookTube channel, I alluded to, I did speak about my pagan beliefs and also how I believe in the kind of circular nature of life. So I do believe in the circular nature of life. I believe that we follow the seasons as well. I think not only does it affect all the nature around us, but we're part of that nature. We are animals. We're part of that nature. I don't think we're separate from it. I think we're affected by it. And I think there's something about, in the pagan life, you don't have one celebration. You have celebrations for all the quarters, and then for the halves, the equinoxes. So you have kind of celebrations for the season, to ring in the season, and you have the equinoxes. So you have lots of celebrations. So there's always something coming on that's connecting you to where we are in the year, in the cycle in the year, about learning about the cycle of the year. And if you're interested in any of this, if you'd like to know any books that I can suggest, I've read lots of books about this, as you would imagine. I can suggest some. I can talk you through some of them that might help you if you're interested in this kind of, if you're just understanding a bit more of this kind of belief system, this way of living, this way of viewing life that connects you to nature in a different way. It also, funnily enough, takes some of the pressure off goal setting or trying to achieve, because you know that everything's changing, everything's turning. Every celebration that you have, if it didn't go to plan, you've got another one coming up. You're always looking about celebrating where you are, acknowledging the past, looking forward to the future, but there's a constant turn. And I think it makes, although, you know, there are special days such as my 25th wedding anniversary, but that's part of a big cycle of 25 years, which is part of our wider life marriage cycle that we're going to go through. And so whilst it was a beautiful day, it was just one day, and then we moved on and we carried on. And today is a beautiful day because here I am talking to you on this day. That took a turn. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I thought I would really like to. Obviously, you can't redecorate your house for the whole season every time. Or I like the way that some people have altars, which they do festively, or they'll do things to mark the seasons within their home altars or their garden altars. Gardening's such a good way of connecting you and connecting you to the moment, to the season, to where we are, and also to celebrate it. I'm sure the people that are gardeners that are sat here are nodding, going, yeah, it teaches you so much about how everything is transitory and what survives and what endures, and how much care we have to give. So that's a beautiful thing as well. It's a beautiful thing. So I'd like to do that, but at the moment I don't have anywhere that's designed for that. There's nowhere that's called to me yet to say this is it, this is the point for this. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a series of crocheted wreaths that I can put on the door when I want to start moving myself, so that when people come into the house and they're coming through that kind of little celebration, and most people won't notice, or if they do notice it, they won't think much of it. But that's the way I want it to that's my thinking behind the crocheted wreaths. So I'm going to do a Halloweeny one. I've got the size of that. I've actually done an autumn one, but it's just not right. It's got, the colours aren't right. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the size of the wreath. So, oh my gosh, I've already gone on for 26 minutes. Okay, right. I got some new wreaths. I got smaller wreaths. Let me show you the difference in the size. So much better. I think these might be 40, I don't know, but these are 30, and these are fully round all the way around, there you can see, whereas these are half wreaths. So that was an issue with it as well, whereas these are half wreaths, so these will lie flat against my door. That's a better idea. It actually, I'm using a pattern and it recommended these ones. I got that little bit of sticker on me, cheeky sausage. So yes, I've already sent pictures to the husband of me using it in various ways, as you would imagine. The husband's coming home from Belfast today, so that's nice. I get to see him tonight. So yes, this is it. That's the wreath I've done. I've got I don't know whether it was expensive or not. I don't know. I didn't go into the shop. I actually ordered them online because I want it up by the weekend. I want to actually put it up this weekend. So this is it. I got 5 of these for £20. So it's £4 a polystyrene wreath. I don't know if that's good value or bad value. Seem to be okay. They were exactly the size I wanted though, and I'm thrilled that I've got a few here. That was a bit of a punt, wasn't it? Because if it had been the wrong size, I'd have got 5 of the wrong size. But as soon as I opened it, I thought, oh, you've done well. So yes, I've been working on this since the weekend. I stitched this today. You can see the white coming through the black, but I'm sure that's only on the screen. Actually looking at it, you don't really notice it. The pattern I'm using is that. I saw it on Instagram and I thought that is doable. I can do that in a week. Halloween wreath, nightmare. Because we do a lot of Halloweeny stuff outside, Samhain. I don't call it Samhain. Samhain is the day after for me. Halloween is, All Hallows Eve, and then Samhain for me is the next day. So that's how I differentiate it. Ideally, I would put up an autumnal one the next day, but I won't be because I don't have time for that. I don't think. No, stop it. I went into it. Maybe I can, but no. There we go. Here we go. And then I am going to try and don't know whether to do a Christmas one or a winter one. Very tempted with the idea of doing a winter one, but then don't I want something Christmassy? I don't know. Here we go. stop going ahead. There we go. So it's Crochet Creations Halloween Wreath, and it is by Crochet Creations. That's the name of the lady. That's not the name of the lady. She's not called Crochet. I think she's called Lisa. I may be making that up. Let's see. Lisa. Yeah. I hope you enjoy this pattern and happy crocheting. Thanks, Lisa. Please feel free to share or sell your finished items, but I would ask you to not sell or share this pattern. Well, that's absolutely fine. So it does tell you how to, it's a good number of pages telling you how to do it. The first thing that you make is the wreath cover, which I have made. Done. Then you make the skull head, which I just need to embroider their nose and mouth and then cut out felt and then glue those on. I've ordered a glue gun. That's how serious I am about these wreaths. Those things are nearly all pinned on, which is quite handy because you can actually switch, you can actually move them about, but they're not steady. So I'm gonna be sewing and gluing on these things. So it goes down there. Actually, it's like that. Yeah. So done that. Done the skull, and then you make twist flowers, which I've never made before. You make twist flowers. Here are, let me show you, which are very unusual. Kind of, it's an unusual way of making. I haven't made anything like that before. Well, I have. I've made things like it, but I haven't done twist flowers where you have to twist to make the petals. You actually twist you actually go from the front and then the back and then the front and the back. There is no way I can show you those white ones without it going funny. Quite a nice little brooch actually, if you're into crochet brooches. But yeah, so you make the crochet twist flowers, and I've started making the pumpkin lollipop. What are they called? Pumpkin candies. I wonder whether, the only thing about this is, I wonder whether she's cut and paste this from another pattern because the colours don't make sense when she's talking about it, because you're using spice. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Special DK. Black. Just a message from the husband. Very nice. And white. So there's only 3 colours. I had loads of black in. Didn't have any white actually. Thought I did, but I have cream. So you do this. In the pattern it says, and then turn to white. It's like, no, it's pumpkin. It's black or spice. So I think she's cut and paste her pattern from some other part. So I'll ignore that. I'll just work it out. So that's a really lovely reel that she's got us. That's a really nice centre. It's sat really nicely. I like the way, I like that pattern that she's used. I really can't get you to see it, but it is lovely. It's lying so nicely. But yeah, so I'm going to do the pumpkin candies. I need to do 4 of those, 2 black with spice and 2 spice with black. And then it's assembly time. So there isn't that much to do. Today's Wednesday and I want it up on Sunday. My only issue is I need some black pipe cleaners. I have no black pipe cleaners. And 3 orange beads. Funnily enough, I thought I had beads. Maybe I've put them somewhere. I'll have a look. I might well have some beads. But yeah, there we go. That's my current work in progress. My latest. That's what I've been working on a lot this week because I want to get it done. But I'm really pleased with it. Super chuffed with the wreaths. Do you like them? Have you got anything like that? Have you done decor with your crochet? It's great, isn't it? It's fun doing that. Love it. Love it, love it. So, yeah. You can stay up here because I don't actually need you downstairs. I've got everything in this bag that I found from it's just a tote with birds on it. It's got chickens and ducks. The chickens and ducks. It's kind of cute. Got a tote from a shop to take something home in, and there we are. So what else have I got to show you? I'll show you 2 more things and then it's your turn. Well, it's actually your turn now. I'm going to get some water. You tell me what you're doing. Yeah, because we want to make this more that you tell me. That in the last video, in the comments, people were putting down what they were working on. That was brilliant. Every time you mentioned a pattern, I went and looked it up so that I could visualise it. Some of you are very creative and very clever. And we're doing things that I was going, yeah, I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that yet. I've got 2 new books. One book I bought for a couple of weeks ago and I still haven't shown you. And I've got another book which I got this week, which, I'm really into my crochet. I think I'm into my decorative crochet. I have been looking at crochet. I swear I say crochet sometimes. It's bizarre. Crochet? Am I saying it wrong? Oh, look, you can see my little boy. He's bigger than that now. He went to Belgium last week on a school trip. He left at 4:15 in the morning. The husband dropped him off at the school. I picked him up at 10:10 the next night. He was tired. He had the most awful cough. He'd had 2 days off school because he just couldn't stop coughing. My family are really very, very prone to getting, my side of the family are really prone to getting coughs. And if we get a cough, that's it. Can't get rid of it. He just couldn't get rid of it. It wasn't a chest infection. It wasn't deep enough. It was really at the top. But he decided, he was like, no, he was just about well enough to go. It was a cough and a half, but he had a brilliant time. We missed him so much. It was only, 2 days, but there he is. I just realised I was looking for that daisy thing. It's on the wall. Anyway, let's put my water there. I'm really into my decorative crochet at the moment. I think I'm thinking more knitwear to wear. Although, as I say, I have been looking at crochet cardigans or crochet tops. Not convinced. I'm not convinced about the sizing of them. But, so I like knitting for garments. I think I'm more into garment knitting and crochet accessories, home accessories, fun things. I think it's such a quick and easy and so creative and so enjoyable process to make the crochet, the fun things. I love them. And this is my latest fun thing that I love. Ghoulie, I've called him. It is a him. I think he's definitely come. Oh, he's so irritable. Look at that face. He looks very grumpy. Kind of goes in there a little bit because this bit I did too tight. Needed another couple of stitches there. But this is Ghoulie. He's my skull candle by RoKiKi. So I knitted 2 aliens by RoKiKi and then crocheted 2 aliens by RoKiKi and then I crocheted Ghoulie. Isn't he adorable? Oh, I love him so much. And it's such a lovely colour. Let me show you what I used. That's the pattern. Not bad. I needed to do another couple of stitches there. I think it's his nose. I think the only thing I've got an issue with is his nose. I think the rest of it is pretty much spot on. It's not far off, is it? So for my first try as well, I'm going to do another one, I think. I'm going to do a different colour. have one red and one green, or I might do something else. Who knows? Might do something else. But yeah, this is Ghoulie. It's just a skull wax strip candle. It's a really, really lovely pattern by RoKiKi. I thoroughly advise it. I couldn't use, I couldn't get durable coral by, so I got, I think I showed you this last time, didn't I? Because I remember having this issue. Naturals, Stylecraft Natural Organic Cotton, not sponsored by Stylecraft, should be for the amount that I did it. So I nearly used the whole of the black. These have got 50, these are 50 gram balls. Balls, it's a good way of saying it. So I've got that much left. That actually took up quite a lot. So I've got that much left of the black. The red, I reckon I've probably got half a ball, so I've probably got 25 grams left of that for the red. For the flame, I've got a lot. I have got a lot left, which I have just, so I barely used any. I barely used it. I think in the picture it's got that at a bit of an angle, hasn't it? Their colours are slightly different than mine, but you can see are virtually full balls. So I've still got full balls of those. So that's really, really easy to do. Really enjoyed using the cotton. Thought it was really comfortable to crochet. The hook I used was, it looks like a diamond. I don't know what symbol that is. Looks like a diamond, but I have no idea what company where I got this from. Could even have been free with a magazine. I've had it a while because it's nicely discoloured. And it's 2.5. It's recommended on the ball band that you use a 4mm. Because I was doing an accessory and I wanted it to be tight, I used a 2.5. That does mean that I had to be mindful I wasn't splitting the yarn when picking it up, because that was quite easy. And I have a tiny little part, something stuck out here, which only I will notice, and that is because I was using a very small hook. So if you're doing accessories and you want it to be tight, then you go down a hook size or 2 or 3, as I have. The pattern actually calls for 2.5, but I have no idea what the yarn that she recommends, what that would normally tell you to use. So it might tell you to use a 3 and she's gone down for 2.5, but I've gone down 1 or 3 sizes, and he looks magnificent. He's great. Sits beautifully. I cut a disc of cardboard, relatively thin cardboard, but quite stiff. Nick. I just hit my hip, and I've got a funny hip. Oh, I've had an operation on it. I put a circle of card in the bottom and the top to make sure that it keeps this shape. And it has worked. That was a good idea. I did wonder whether I needed it, but actually it has really helped it. He could have been slightly filled a bit more. I could have actually filled him in a bit more. It has got a little bit of give, but it's probably not necessary, but I love him. So Ghoulie is on our bookcase downstairs next to all the ghost books. Well, some of the kind of scary ghost books. So, and I've also got a little, a boo down there. And we've got an alien. What other cryptoids will I crochet? Will I be drawn into crocheting? So you can go down there, my friend. Boop. So that is there. My crochet blanket for my manager's gift that she wants to give. I've only got one more colour to do on that, so that is really just an afternoon. I could finish that because I could do a colour and then do the borders in an afternoon. Won't be this weekend, probably be the following weekend. Got a busy weekend ahead actually, because I'm working Saturday and then I'll be coming home and then we're going straight out. We're going to the concert hall in Cambridge, in West Road, to see the planets, the Cambridge Symphony Orchestra, I think. I think it's a symphony orchestra. In fact, I'm sure it's a symphony orchestra. Cambridge Symphony Orchestra is doing Holst's The Planets, which I said to the lad, even you don't, he's like, well, I've never heard it. And I was like, no, but you will have. You will have heard some of it. You won't have heard all of it, but you will have heard some of it. It's an hour-long family concert where they talk about, so being a family concert, they introduce the music. They don't just go ahead and play it. So they'll talk about it. And I believe there's some stuff on the back as well. So, oh, that's going to be so good. You could come. I would like to. There's all the stuff up here as well. So, yeah. So I've got that back there to finish. And my next knitting project that I'm working on, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, I promise. I would suggest probably not watching this in one go unless you are fully invested in what you're doing. I'm actually going to use this. Again, Stylecraft. Talk to me. Can you see that? Is there any way I can do that? There we are. Shh. Can you see it? Stylecraft Recreate. 100% recycled yarn. Yeah, Stylecraft. 40% wool, 30% acrylic, 30% polyester. All recycled. I thought that was great. Normally, I wouldn't have gone for this. It's DK weight. It's machine washable. May dry clean, it says. Who's going to dry clean this? So the pattern I'm doing, I haven't got a picture of. But it's a sweater vest, tank top. It's a tank top. Stylecraft, they've just released the pattern. If you look up, I'll leave all the details down below so that you can get on the old Google and see which one I'm doing. So it's a round or V-neck tank top in Recreate DK 9857. They did charcoal and ecru, whereas I am using ink. Is it ink or have I just made that up? I may have made that up. No, I am using ink, which is a lovely blue. I didn't want completely dark, but it's a lovely blue. And as you can see, it's got little flecks in it, just the smallest little flecks. So it's not a solid colour. How cool is that? That is actually showing up a lot more vibrant than it actually is in real life. In real life, it's a little bit more grey blue. That is not that exact, but near as damn it. Yeah, why that suit me? I think that will suit me. I'm really pleased with that. Not expensive compared to some yarns. Not an expensive yarn either. So I've got 4 balls, virtually all the sizes. The bottom the two smallest sizes were 3 balls, and all the other sizes were 4 balls. Not the biggest. I'm doing the largest size. I tell you what, their sizing is not that inclusive. They could do with really Stylecraft. You need to look at your sizing. I'm doing the biggest size. But I think I'm going to do the V-neck rather than the round. If I like it, it has got a cable definition on it. If I like it, I'll do the other side. So that's I've printed off the pattern. That, when you look at a pattern like that, doesn't it just make you go, oh. But you work through it one by one. Tomorrow night, I'm going to a friend's house and I shall be taking this, and she will look at that and she will say, and I'll just say, no, you just literally go down line by line. Don't look at the next line. You look at the first line. What size needles do I need? Because I haven't started it. I'm going to start it this evening so that when I go tomorrow, I have something. 1 pair 4mm needles, One pair 3.4. Stitch holders, loads of those, and cable needle. Cable needle. What have I got? There we are, friends. So if you are not a knitter and you've not used a cable needle, what they do, this is a cable needle. So they are these slightly, what's the best way I can do it? There we go. They're slightly bendy needles with a kind of hook. And what you do is you slip stitches onto them, to the cable needle, and you normally drop them, and then you knit past, and then you knit up, then you knit these stitches. So they are used to hold some live stitches whilst you knit past, and then with the ends you can then go back and knit it. And what it does is cables are twists in the design, and so it's moving these live stitches across 3 or back 3, or that's how you do it. And the stitches sit in the dip, so when you drop them they're not going to fall off. That's why you've got the dip, so that they don't run off and you don't lose your live stitches. That's the way I think about cable needles. There may be a better description of them elsewhere, but those are cable needles, and obviously I need a cable needle. I will probably use a smaller than larger. When you're knitting, it's the stitch that you move onto, the needle that you move onto, that is your sizing needle. So this needle, so I knit like that. So this is the needle that the stitches are moving onto. So the stitches are all here, and I knit and transfer them onto this needle. And there's probably a better way of describing it. And it's this size that is your dominant size. This depends, the size of this needle is what decides the size of the stitch. Okay, this doesn't have to be that size. So the cable needle, I don't need a 4mm or 3.4mm cable needle. That doesn't matter. It will just be handier to have a smaller rather than larger. I'm just going to go for the smaller. Maybe I'll take both, put both in my bag, and then I can choose which one I'm going to use. So there's that. I think I'm right. I'm sure I'm right. This is my handy dandy, what have I got in here kind of thing. So yeah, so when I said about stitch holders, this is a very large stitch holder. I think I'm going to use this one. So you can slip live stitches onto it and then clip it, and they don't fall off. So I should imagine when you're knitting the front, you would start here and you'd knit down, and then you'd put these stitches on a live, and then you start here, knit down, and then join them, and then knit down. So if you were knitting, that's if you're not knitting in the round. So if you're piecing things together, you're knitting the front and then the back. So you would knit. So yeah, so knit, put on stitch marker, knit across, and then knit down. So that's what you use stitch holders for. So that's a stitch holder. So I need a stitch holder. That's if I'm doing the back. Do I need it if I'm doing the back or if I'm just doing the front? I don't know. I need to read that. So yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about today. If I talk about any more, this literally will be 2 to 3 hours. This is just under an hour. Sorry if I gabbled at the end there. I need to find some 3.4 needles. I'm going to have to, I don't think I've got 3.4 on my interchangeable set. However, shall I show you my knitting needles that I have in here? When they came for the silver wedding party. A lot of people hadn't seen the house because we moved last year, and then there were COVID restrictions, and then people have just got out of the habit, I think. People haven't fully got back into the habit of going around people's houses. A lot of my relatives live a long way away as well, so they just hadn't come. And my sister-in-law went in there, came in the room. Lovely, yeah, very nice. Do you really need that many knitting needles? Really? Do you? And I was like, yeah, I do. And she's like, really? Actually, no. But they've got lovely resonance for me because they are, a lot of them are my mum's. Let me get them. Really shouldn't leave that up there. So I will forget that that's up there and not put that on our Christmas tree. That's a lovely 3-dimensional bauble. They're lovely. I got it from a Etsy shop called #house. And she does these reliefs. If you look at the side like that. And she does the earrings like that and everything. She's brilliant. But yeah. She took one look at that and she went, do you really need that many? And I thought, well, she hasn't seen inside that drawer. But yeah, I do actually. So a lot of these are old. And I would never use them. And probably not. Actually, that's not bad. Some of them are actually not that straight either. Some are great. Look at that. That's a lovely knitting needle. What size are you? If you're 3.4, I would be beyond happy. You actually don't look completely straight. That is the issue, because some of them are old. No, that doesn't have a size on it. So I don't know where that one came from. I've got a hole. If I could see a 3.4, look at that. Are you straight? Not bad. That is a pony 3.4, so I could actually use, rather than using my interchangeables, I could use, that's an 3.4, I could use these. That is true. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, I don't know, I'll never use that one. Some of them I'm not sure I've got pairs. Can I see another 3.4? That's what are you? You're 4 point something. Yeah. They're great. They hold a lot of memories for me because I remember my mum knitting with them, and yeah, they hold a lot of memories, a lot of resonance. I feel the energy in them, and I love them. You are a lovely size. Are you the same size as that? Because if you are, there we go. I'm going to do it. The energy is there. I'll use these. I was going to find my interchangeables. I'll use the interchangeables for the 4mm because that will be more comfortable for me. But I will use these. I haven't used old-fashioned ones for ages. Straights. Your straight knitting needles. I haven't used those for ages. But I'll use them on that. Yet I shall put that in there, and I will do that this evening. Yeah. So yeah, so here's me with all my knitting needles. Maybe I shall I use this as my, I was going to say, shall I use that as a screenshot? Do you have that? Do you have something from the crafting thing from somebody else? Somebody in a family or that inspired you? My mum was a brilliant knitter. She never made for herself. Never made for herself. She always made for other people. Oh, and I've got a new great nephew. My niece had a little baby boy. They're home. Oh, she's in that baby bubble. I told her to look after herself. She's like, yes, Auntie Louise. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to stop, otherwise I'm just going to carry on and it's nearly an hour. So here we are. Here we are, Yarn Chat. This has been lovely. I'm sorry if this has been a bit rambly. I've had so much I wanted to talk to you about, so much I wanted to show you. I basically need to do this more often. It's just a question of finding the time to sit down and do it. The want is here, as in I want to do it. I want to spend time with you. I hope you're well. Let me know down in the comments if you're well. Yeah? Let me know you're okay. That you're not feeling the change in the season is making you feel cozy and ready to withdraw and rest and recuperate. It's not getting you down. Some people start to see the darker nights and they get them down. Not me. But I hope that you get the cozy feeling. Yeah. This has been lovely Yarn Chat. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.